Hello everyone, welcome to this week's subscriber question. If you're not familiar with how the process works, just read the description box. It's pretty simple. With that said, the question for this week is, does energy expenditure increase with fasting? And this question comes from our subscriber Trevor Hare. The answer is no. I could end the video right there and just leave you with that, but I'm going to go ahead and try and explain a little bit of why that is, some of the physiology. So, and actually we can take this outside of physiology. We can look at this from kind of a physics standpoint. So the body needs a certain amount of energy for whatever process it's undergoing. So let's say in a 1 hour chunk of time, it's going to need X amount of energy to fulfill whatever it needs to do to keep you alive within that hour time, okay? So that is the energy expenditure. However, in terms of if you're fasting or not fasting, that expenditure does not change, okay? Unless, well, I mean, of course, maybe if you're starving for, you know, a long period of time, but for an hour or several hours, that expenditure is not going to change. Your body is, if you've eaten food, it's going to expend roughly about the same amount of calories or energy in general, kilojoules, if you want a scientific kind of metric, scientific system. Or if you're fasted, you're going to use a certain amount of energy as well. So that set amount of energy to keep you alive for that hour is done. Like, that's the amount of energy you need. Now, if you fast or not, it's going to have no impact on that, but it will have an impact in other ways. And that way is through increasing what's called a process called lipolysis. Lipolysis is essentially just fat breakdown from your fat cells. Your fat cells release fat in fatty acids and the glycerol backbone that make up triglycerides. And then those get transported to different systems, your brain, liver, muscles, all kinds of other organs. And then most of those then end up taking up fat and using that preferentially over glucose. But in terms of the tier higher than that, so talking about specific subtypes of fat use or glucose use or glycogen or whatever it ends up being, that would be a tier under your overall energy expenditure. So your overall energy expenditure is not going to change, but the subtype of what fuel your body will use will change. And your body's constantly moving back and forth. It's a continuum. So regardless of the situation, your body's always adjusting and making sure that it's putting you in the best possible situation to maintain your life long term, but also to maintain your performance if you were to undergo any sort of performance event. And this whole process is called the Randle cycle. And actually, more specifically, or the way it's called now, is called glucose fatty acid cycle. And I have an article that I've been writing on this exact cycle. So hopefully we will see a video on that pretty soon. Not exactly sure when, but it'll explain in far more detail how our body's able to switch between fat and glucose use as we go through and expend calories. So again, fasting does not increase your energy expenditure, and it can change your energy expenditure if you were to maybe starve, for example. Then in that case, but we're talking about kind of a realistic situation, it's not going to have any noticeable impact on your energy expenditure. So hopefully I answered the question, Trevor. Thanks for the question, and I'll be updating the questions as usual that you guys submit in the poll, which is located on Facebook. The link is down below. Feel free to vote and have your voice heard. With that said, I will hopefully have the pleasure of seeing you in the next video, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Have a good one. See ya.